Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NFL show here at Toilets to Titles. This is Joe, your host. Good to see you again. This is where we're going to do my recap of the NFL games for Week 10, and I'm going to give my picks for the upcoming Week 11 games. Hope everyone's having a great week this week before Thanksgiving. We're really about to get knee deep into the holiday season. I absolutely love it. But I got to figure out what I'm going to do next week in terms of doing the show because I'll be in Los Angeles with my family to visit my wife's side of the family, and I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. So because I do plan on doing the show, but I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that next week from Los Angeles. Anyway, everyone, I hope everyone's doing great. This NFL season is just continuing to be crazy. It feels like we are in the upside down with this NFL season. There's still so many of the really good teams that we thought coming into the season were going to be really good, and yet they're still struggling. Maybe they're doing a little better, but everything just seems to be upside down. This NFL season feels like a season from Stranger Things, and you've got teams that we weren't expecting much who are actually doing pretty darn well. It's a topsy-turvy season, and it has been very enjoyable, just completely wild. Anyway, before we get into the juicy content, let me get the bells and whistles out of the way. Friendly reminder: please hit that like and subscribe button. Give us that 5-star Apple review. We really appreciate that. It takes about 30 seconds to give the review at most, and it really helps us out a lot. Where you can find the show: Apple Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Podbean, and Spotify. We're pretty much anywhere, everywhere, every platform you can pretty much find Toilets to Titles. Patreon.com/Toilets to Titles. If you go there, you can learn how you can further support the show. And I want to give a shout out to our current Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your additional support. It really helps us out a lot. Every dollar that you basically donate to us each month goes back into making the show, just trying to make it bigger and better and just better content all around. And if you go to toiletstotitles.com, which is our snazzy website, it has all of our videos, articles, everything we produce winds up on our website. And here at Toilets of Titles, we cover fantasy football, NFL, NCAA football, and the draft as well. So we cover it all. Anything to do with football, outside of high school football, and outside of flag football, we pretty much cover everything to do with football. So we have like 15 contributors here at 12 Titles. Some of us do videos, some of us do articles, some of us do both. So we try to pump out the best content and a lot of it as well. So just to give you as much football loving as we possibly can. All right, guys, that's it for the bells and whistles, and let's get to the juicy content. All right, first game was the Thursday night game. Unexciting matchup, but I was a little surprised by the result here. The now 3-7 Panthers took care of business against the now 4-6 Falcons, 25-15. Things have been better ever since Matt Rule is gone, and ever since they actually traded Christian McCaffrey. I don't think that I don't get me wrong. I don't think the Panthers are a better team without Christian McCaffrey. But it is funny when he's traded, they actually start winning games. Really, the deciding factor here is that Matt Rule is gone as head coach, and the Panthers suddenly seem uh, like a more sturdy team, like more of a team that you really can't count out. And this was a fairly even matchup anyway. But the Panthers got, I believe, their second win under their new head coach, the interim head coach. And Deonta Foreman is still playing like a beast. Panthers are playing well. They took care of business against the Falcons. Falcons are kind of hit or miss. I've been calling them the Fighting Falcons because that team does fight. They have some upset wins. You can usually it's hard to knock the Falcons down and keep them down. They do fight. I have to give them respect, but Panthers got the better of the deal here this week, and but keep an eye out for not Devontae. I'm sorry, Deontay Foreman. The guy is playing like a true RB1. He's looking really good, and uh, and that's it in this game. Pretty boring Thursday night game. Pretty boring Thursday night game, to be honest. All right, let's move on to the Sunday games. You had the Buccaneers defeating the Seahawks. Buccaneers are now 5-5. Seahawks are now 6-4. Final score of this game was 21-16. Um, I want to say this was maybe a get right game for the Buccaneers, who are now 5-5. That hey, maybe this is going to lead to a slew of wins for them, making a playoff push the second half of the season. The problem is, I've said that before, and it hasn't happened. Anytime where I think the Buccaneers are ready to take off, um, they get another loss, and hence they're 5-5. The Seahawks are still 6-4. Seahawks are having a really, really good season. I don't think they're the best team, but they're a good team, and they just had the best draft probably of any team. They probably just had the best draft here in 2022, the most recent draft. Where they got two offensive tackles. One of them is playing like pretty much at a Pro Bowl level. They got two really good young cornerbacks. They got a really good running back in Kenneth Walker the third, who's looking and playing like a true RB1. So the Seahawks, they lost the game. There's no shame. I know the Buccaneers are having a disappointing season. There is no shame in losing to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Even though the Buccaneers have a lot of injuries, it's still a very talented team. It's a team of veterans. They know what they're doing. Anytime you lose to them, it's not there's nothing embarrassing about that. But Seahawks are still having a very good season. Geno Smith, you can't say enough about that guy. Maybe not the best game in the world for him here, but again, Buccaneers, they should be better than 5-5. We know the Buccaneers. Um, Geno Smith is having a resurgent season like no other, probably in history. At the age of 30, having this renaissance of a career right now, it's just fantastic for him. The Seahawks are still very much in the middle of things for playoff contention, and you can't count out the Buccaneers. I've said that multiple times before. They wind up losing a game. Maybe it's a jinx. I don't know. But you still can't count the Buccaneers out. There's still 7 games left to go for them. There's still plenty of time to, make that race for a playoff spot. The Vikings, probably the biggest game this weekend was. I'm not going to say it was the biggest upset because the Vikings are 8-1. And the Vikings are now 8-1. The Bills are now 6-3. The Vikings won this game 33-30. The Vikings, hey, what can I say about the Vikings? I'm really glad to see that that they keep winning. Because this is a team that in the past where, you think they should be in playoff contention, they should be one of the better teams in the NFL, and they just kind of crap the bed. But so far, man, they are not doing that, and they got this big win against Buffalo, who is a scary good team. Buffalo is 6-3. They do have 3 losses, and they're not looking great right now. Buffalo's not looking great. Josh Allen does have an arm injury that he played with this past Sunday. I'm not sure how long that's supposed to linger for, but he was good enough to play. And the Bills, they did let up 33 points here. They did lose this game, and the Bills. It's funny because at the beginning of the season, this team looked like a team that was on a mission to make the Super Bowl, and they looked like the team, to make the Super Bowl and to win it. In my mind, they were the favorites. And I think they were the favorites in the minds of most people as well. But they now have 3 losses. And the Vikings, Vikings are taking care of business. I am always scared to I guess to bet on the Vikings, if you will, or to count on them, because anytime I think we've counted on the Vikings to continue good things going, they wind up crap in the bed. But so far, they're 8-1. They're looking really good. They're tied with the Eagles for the number one spot in the NFC conference in the NFC. And who actually has that number one spot right now? I'm not sure. The Eagles got upset, which we'll get to later on. But they're both 8-1, and right now they're both looking like the two best teams in the NFC. So good job there. The Lions are now 3-6. They got their third win. They defeated the Bears 31-30. Bears are now 3-7. Storyline here, 2 storylines for me that matter to me. Number one, with the Lions, they're back to putting up like 30 plus points a game. They were doing that earlier in the season, and then they had a slew of key injuries, including Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. But ever since Amon-Ra St. Brown came back, like this game and the previous game, to back to putting up 30 plus points. The Lions offense is really good. Their defense is not good. They do have good young talent there, including Aiden Hutchinson, their first round pick this year. But they do have good young talent, just not nearly enough of it on that defense for the Lions yet. But they did get the win against the Bears. The other storyline is Justin Fields continues to play like a monster. He is looking like the real deal, like a franchise quarterback for the past like 5 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks. He's been looking like, okay, this guy is it. This guy is going to be the Bears franchise quarterback for a long time. And he does need more weapons. He's going to need more weapons. Definitely needs an upgrade in the offensive line, but he is making it work. Again, they put up 30 points, which was really good. Bears offense has been really hot for the past like 4 weeks, and Justin Fields had well over 300 yards, like half of it in the air, half of it on the ground. He was an absolute monster. Justin Fields was a wrecking crew himself in this game, and he almost pulled out the win here against the Lions. But Lions were able to pull it out. I do think the Lions are a slightly better team right now. Good close game. But both of these teams are trending in the right direction. I know Lions fans are disappointed because they're only 3-6. I think they expected more, and I expected a little more from the Lions this year too. But I still think the Lions are trending in the right direction. Um, and they have a lot of good young talent to build from. And I think Jared Goff is looking like a pretty darn good NFL quarterback as well. But the Bears fans, be happy. Justin Fields looks like he is the real deal. Okay, the 6-3 Titans defeated the now 3-6 Broncos 17-10. A very Titan-esque game. The score 17-10. Um, Broncos are, they continue to reel. They are one of these teams with quite a few other teams, the Raiders, the Rams, the Buccaneers, quite a few other teams that have just been disappointing. We expected so much more from quite a few of these teams and that are just disappointing. And the Broncos are one of them. The Broncos on paper, man, they've got more talent than Tennessee. This is in most other seasons. I think Denver would have won this game. Russ Wilson's not playing well. The offense looks really, really bad, and the Titans continue to just take care of business in a very Titan-esque way. Low score, Derrick Henry, Tannehill not making any big stupid mistakes, and a good defense. Just a well-coached team. Well-coached team. I really like Tennessee. I love Vrabel, such a good head coach. And I really respect that organization and that team. I really do. The Titans are looking pretty good in their division, though. They're looking good in their division. They're 6-3. Broncos again are reeling at 3-6. It's looking like their season's over. I mean, I can see the Buccaneers making a big push for a playoff spot. I can't see it with the Broncos. I mean, they're 3-6 anyway. The season's probably over. I can't see them getting it straightened out and winning, like 7 games. I can't see it. Okay, let's move on to the Chiefs, who are now 7-2. They defeated the now 3-7 Jaguars 20-17. I'm sorry, 27-17. Not a surprise here. I don't want to spend too much time on this game. Uh, the matchup is obvious. The Chiefs are, an elite team in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is having an awesome season, even without Tyreek Hill. They're both having great seasons. Mahomes is having a great season without Hill, and Hill's having a great season in Miami without Mahomes. It's with Tua. Tua's doing great, but still, it's not. It's without Mahomes. Hill is doing phenomenal. Not surprised at all. But Chiefs, Kadarius Toney, man, I'm telling you, he went to Kansas City. It was such a perfect spot for him. I knew it immediately. Even when he was on the Giants, it never felt right. Obviously, I'm a Giants fan. Never even felt right that he was on our team. I'm like, this is a dude. I'd love for this guy to succeed here. I believe in his talent. His ceiling is awesome. Um, but it just never felt like a match anyway. And I think it was just that was more of a parting of ways where both sides, both the Giants front office and their coaches and the culture that they're trying to build, um, and they really hold people accountable. I just don't think that was a fit with Tony. Tony didn't feel like it was a fit for him. He didn't seem happy here anyway, and I think it was not good on both sides. And it does hurt to know that this guy is going to have great success in Kansas City, and I do wish him the best. But he had a really good game here. He had a really good game number 2 for the Chiefs, and Tony I think, is going to be, sometime soon, the scariest damn player on the field. Every single time he's stepping on the field with Patrick Mahomes, he's going to be the scariest player on the field besides Mahomes. He's going to be even scarier than Kelsey, and that's not taking away anything from Kelsey. Kelsey's one of the best tight ends in the history of NFL. But Kadarius Toney, man, this guy is such a damn weapon. He had something like 100 yards combined as a wide receiver and as a running back, and taking some handoffs. Did he have a touchdown? I think he had a touchdown this weekend as well. Had some really nice grabs, at least one really nice grab along the sideline. The guy's like an artist on the field, Kadarius Toney. I love watching him play. I love watching him play. And as a Giants fan, I would have loved to see him play every Sunday. I just always had a feeling from the beginning this was never going to work. And but man, he is going to be an absolute monster in Kansas City. And mark my words, this guy is going to have a phenomenal career there. It's you know it's I see it as impossible for him to not succeed as long as he's healthy, to not have incredible success as a wide receiver one. And I'm telling you, he's going to, in fairly short order, Kadarius Toney is going to be wind up being the most dangerous player for Kansas City, even more dangerous than Kelsey. And again, that's not knocking Kelsey. All right, let's move on to the Dolphins. Talk about a team that's having a great season. Kansas City Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are rocking and rolling. Tua is having that season that some of us, I think many people. I live on a busy street. Sorry if you hear any traffic over there. Anyway, Tua is having the type of season that some of us, at least, including myself, thought that he could have. I believe in Tua. I like him a lot. This guy needed to stay healthy. He needed weapons and he needed some protection on the offensive line. Do that. I thought this guy was going to be the real deal. It was looking kind of shaky there with Tua in the beginning, at least last year, where a lot of people thought they should move on, draft another quarterback. I thought they should stay put, give Tua a little more time. Obviously, they got him. They got him Waddle last year in the draft. They got Tyreek Hill, via trade this offseason. I mean, what a wide receiver duo! Just absolutely amazing. And Tua is looking phenomenal. So Dolphins smashed the Browns 39-17. The Browns are 3-6 right now. They're just waiting for Deshaun Watson to show up. They've been trying to tread water until that time, and I guess Deshaun Watson. You know what? I haven't checked up on him because I just really don't care about the guy. But I guess he's going to be playing for the Browns pretty soon. I think it was an 11-game suspension, and we're up to week 11. So he's going to be playing for Cleveland soon. But that's that game. Dolphins are rolling. They are in first place in the AFC Beast. We've got two divisions on the East that are beasts. It's the AFC Beast and the NFC Beast. They're both looking beastly right now. But I got to say, I have to give by a nose. Give it to the AFC East. Looking absolutely phenomenal. The Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets, and even the Patriots. Patriots are still hanging around too. Let me check out the comments over here. Nino Brown, I know, man. Nino Brown's talking about, hey, Tony, been telling you, human joystick. I know, man. And Nino says, Storm Shadow T. Hey, it's funny. Let me go back to Nino's comment about Tony. Nino, I never doubted it. Let me just tell viewers right now, what's going on here. Nino was talking of Tony during the entire summer, and I was being very negative about it. I'm a Giants fan. He was on the Giants. Nino, I always believed in the guy's talent. I just felt like there was something going on there with this guy that was beyond injury. And it was not, I felt like Tony was not a mix for the Giants. The Giants were not, I should say, not a match for the Giants. Giants were not a match for him, Nino. And I felt like I just had a bad feeling it just wasn't going to work for whatever reason. And I was right. And I was right. It didn't work. He's gone. Believe me, Nino, his ceiling I've always felt is incredible. I was scared when they first drafted him for quite a few reasons, but the guy's ceiling was undeniable, and just the glimpses of Tony I saw just last year with the Giants had me salivating. But he got off to a wrong foot, on the wrong foot with the new management. I think he was on the wrong foot with last year's management too. This year's management coaches got off to the wrong fit. He got on the wrong foot. I think it was just a bad match, and it sucks. I wanted to root for that guy. He is phenomenal. Listen, I really think, especially with Mahomes, I think he's going to be like top five wide receivers for like the next 7, 8, 10 years. I really think he's that good, and Mahomes is just going to make him even better. But I think you could put him on any team, any quarterback, the Giants, Daniel Jones, I don't care who it is, and Tony was going to be he was going to rock this world. Tony was going to rock this world, but it was a matter of him being on the field. And yeah, he had injuries, but I had a feeling there was something going on behind the scenes where it wasn't just injuries. And yeah, baby Tyreek Hill, exactly, exactly. Exactly. And he looks happier in Kansas City too. He looks light. Seeing him at the podium with the Giants, you could tell he didn't want to be there. And I just also think the market was too big for the dude too. Maybe if the Giants had been a winning football team and Giants, listen, Giants organization, they can be hard asses on players too. They've always want things done a certain way, and they are pretty insistent on it. And I don't mind that because that's where we've had our best success under Coughlin, Parcells. It's just not an old. It's not just an old school way. It's a grounded way of doing things. And I just don't. I don't think Tony's a bad person. I think he's just marches to the beat of his own drum, and that's it. And he's like, it wasn't a match. It just wasn't a match. Andy Reid can control the personalities and teams and make it work. Nino Brown, like no other. Andy Reid can do that like no other, like no other. And again, I don't even think Tony's a bad person. I personally, I think he just marches to the beat of his own drum. And if he feels like even at his young age, and I kind of respect that, if he sees like, listen, I'm uncomfortable here. This doesn't, I'm uncomfortable here. I don't want to be here. He's going to get himself out of there and onto another team that's a better fit for himself. And I think he did that. I think this was a mutual thing behind the scenes. I really would like to hear what was going on with Tony and management this season, but I think it was a mutual thing. I really do, and it just sucks, man. As a Giants fan, I was so looking forward to seeing him play. But I do want him to succeed. I like Tony a lot. I don't think he's a bad person. I respect him. I think, I respect him. I think he just marches to the beat of his own drum. I'll say it for the fifth time. And when he felt like, hey, man, I want out of here, he was accommodated. He was accommodated. Just wasn't a fit personality wise. But I agree, man. Andy Reid could deal with anyone. And Antonio Brown should be over there in Kansas City. I bet he would do just fine. And I'm not even joking around. I'm not even joking around. Anyway, guys, okay, let's move on to the next game. My Giants are now 7-2. Speaking of the Giants, they took care of business against the Texans, who are now 1-7-1. Final score of this game was 24-16. I really don't want to spend too much time in this game. Giants got their seventh win. They're in good position to make the playoffs. They do have the hardest part of the schedule coming up now. The second half of the year, they still got another game against Dallas, 2 games against Philadelphia, and 2 games against Washington, who's been playing a lot better. So they've got the divisional games coming up. And I'm so glad that the NFL finally did this. I don't ever remember them doing this before, and I hope they continue to do this. This is something for years I've been saying they should do, and that is leave the vast majority, if not all, of the divisional games for the second half of the season. Make it a battle royale in the second half of the season. We all love football. We watch the NFL because we love football. Me myself, and I assume I can speak for many other NFL fans. I don't care what team my team is playing. I don't care who the opponent is. It can be I'm a Giants fan. It could be teams from the AFC. I'm going to love the game because I love the Giants. I love the game of football. So you don't need to start off the season with a divisional game. I always thought that was such a waste. It was stupid. Save those divisional games for the second half of the season when teams know who they are. They know what they're doing. They've got their offensive system in place. They've gotten their feet under them. They're playing feet under them, and then let it be a battle royale for those for winning the division and winning any and securing any playoff spots. But Giants took care of business here. They've got hard upcoming games for the rest of the season for the most part. For the most part, they're in good position to make the playoffs. I'm not sold. They have to get to 10 wins. You get to 10 wins, let's do that. You get to 10 wins. I think I'll feel confident about them making the playoffs. Texans, not much to talk about. Damian Pierce had a good game. He didn't have a great game. His numbers were a little inflated by this one big run, but then again, that happens to every running back. He did have another good game though. He was very much held in check by the Giants. But listen, they really don't have any weapons to pass to be honest with you. With what's his name, they're the best wide receiver, holding out right now. So for the Texans, but 24-16 was the final score of this game. Let's move on. Steelers are now 3-6. They defeated the Saints, who are now 3-7. 20-10. I don't want to spend too much time in this game either. Um, really not much to say about this game, to be honest. I'm not even sure who the quarterback was for the Steelers. I assume it was Kenny Pickett. I assume, but I don't even know who QB for the Saints were. These two teams are just right now just kind of boring, to be honest with you. Steelers have some rebuilding to do. I do think the Steelers have plenty of good weapons, especially on they have good talent on the defensive side of the ball. I do think they have good talent on the offensive side of the ball. Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Fryer They've got some other decent wide receivers like Deontay Johnson as well. But Pickett needs more time to season in order to get some more flavoring. Pickett needs some more time to he needs some seasoning there. But Steelers need some help, and in the upcoming draft. And Minka Fitzpatrick, I know he's injured. I think he's injured for the rest of the year. I could be unsure about that, but I know he's injured. So that'll be another big blow to the defense, who already lost Watt earlier this year. Saints are reeling 20. I'm sorry, they're 3-7. And I'll say this again, like I've been saying every week, and I'll hammer the Saints with it. Their general manager, and I think it might be the general manager they've had for a long time, should be fired for what he did last year. For this previous draft, where he traded away the 2023 draft. He traded away the first pick in the 2023 draft to the Eagles, and all he did was take a wide receiver in Olave, and that's nothing against Olave. I love Olave. I think he's a good wide receiver. But the Saints doing that when they're obviously going to need a quarterback, they obviously would be picking like top 5, 6, 7 this upcoming draft in a quarterback heavy draft. They're not going to be able to draft a quarterback. Not in the first round, not early in the first round like they would have been if they stupidly didn't trade that pick last year, this past draft to the Eagles. Incredibly stupid. The general manager, and again, I think it's a general manager who's been around for a long time for the Saints. I would fire him immediately. That's a fireable offense. What an idiot. Is it Loomis? Is that his name, the GM of the Saints? What a moron. I'd fire him immediately. What an idiot. Anyway, let's move on to the Colts, who are playing better. Colts are 4-5-1. I still give them a shot at that seventh playoff spot. I don't think they're going to win the division. I don't think they'll catch the Titans, but the Colts are playing better. Matt Ryan was back at the helm this weekend. They're running the ball like they should have been. Running. They should have been a run-heavy team because they've got a really good running game behind a pretty good offensive line, running offensive line. They took it to the Raiders 25-20. Raiders, man, they are reeling 2-7. Blew another big lead. I think they had a big lead again here. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm thinking of the previous week's game. Raiders lost another game 25-20. Hey, Devontae Adams is having a great season, so it's not like he's been a disappointment or anything, but Raiders are reeling, man. And listen, I know a lot of people are saying that McDaniels, the rookie head coach for the Raiders, should be fired. He should be fired immediately. Burn down Vegas. Burn down McDaniels. I don't buy that. I think I'm not a McDaniels fan. I mean, meaning that after what he did to the Colts a few years ago, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'm a repetitive type of personality. What can I say? But after what he did to the Colts a few years ago, I wouldn't hire this dude, to do anything. I would never hire McDaniels to do anything. I thought he did was horrible. And yeah, listen, he did not have a successful stint as the previous head coach of the Broncos. That was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago. Listen, you made the choice to hire the guy. I realize they're having a very disappointing season. They're 2-7. They've been in every single one of these games as far as I can recall. The Raiders, I think all of the losses have been within one score. Last year, most of the vast majority of the wins came from within one score. It doesn't take much for those games, to be flipped the other way, which is going on this year. The Raiders are definitely much better than 2-17. They shouldn't be 2-7. That's true. But I wouldn't give up as much as I dislike McDaniels. I wouldn't give up on the guy yet. I would give him at least another year to turn the ship around here. So I think the Raiders can do it. And listen, if they stick next year, then you fire McDaniels. But I wouldn't fire him just yet. I'd give him, through all of next year to show what he can do. All right. And before I get to the next game, Moon Vibes TV. What's wavy, Joey? Hey, what's going on, Moon Vibes? How are you, man? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, he saw Matt Ryan with the wheels. The man, the old man, the geriatric, he still has it, huh? Moon Vibes, he still has it. Matt Ryan still has it. He had a good game, man. He did have a good game. Good for him. And honestly, the move to Ellinger, unless you're like tossing the season like an NBA team where you're tanking, unless you're doing that, there was really no reason to play Ellinger. You wanted to see him a little bit, see what he can do. I get it, but listen, there was no reason to give up on the season. I understand the owner, Jim Irsay, was very upset about everything, and he has every right to be. Every right to be. Should have fired the head coach, Frank Reich. Honestly, I'd fire the general manager too. But but listen, Matt Ryan should be playing. I didn't feel like he was the reason why the team wasn't playing well. They should have been running the ball. They finally are more. That's what makes sense. That's what makes sense. All right, let's get on to the next game, and that is the Packers, who are now 4-6, pulled off a big time upset against the now 6-3 Cowboys, 31-28. Aaron Rodgers just has the Cowboys number. Some players, some quarterbacks, some teams have another team's number. It's just the Eagles have the Giants number. And yes, the Eagles are a better team than the Giants. They've been better than my Giants for a long time now. But even in the past, when the Giants were the better team on paper, better record, they'd be lucky to get a win against the Eagles, even if the Eagles stunk, even if they weren't that good, and or it would be a close game, you know. So the Eagles have the Giants number, the Packers, or at least Aaron Rodgers has the Cowboys number. I saw, you know, on Twitter a lot of irate Cowboys fans who are like saying, I think, silly stuff like, give us back that give us, bring back the backup quarterback. I forgot who it was, what his name is, but the guy who was filling in for Dak this early this season while Dak was injured. Um, Dak is a much better quarterback, guys. Listen, the Cowboys offense put up 28 points. It's not necessarily easy to win, when you give up 31 points. That's the problem. And that's a surprise because the Cowboys defense has probably been the best defense this entire year in the NFL. They're really good. Um, what can I say? Things just didn't go right. There were some mistakes there by the Cowboys. They did get sloppy. I didn't watch all the game, but I was reading up on it. They did get sloppy here and there. Some questionable calls here and there as well. But listen, I'm not putting this on Dak. You put up 28 points. That's pretty darn good. That should be good enough to win, especially against a team like the Packers who have not been playing well this year. Good thing for the Packers is they started running the ball again. Like the Colts, they started running the ball again, which is good because you don't have the wide receivers, at least not yet. Maybe some of these young guys, like Christian Watson and Romeo Dubs, maybe they went down the road, maybe they will wind up being wide receiver studs. They're not there yet. So while you're waiting for those guys to develop and to be better as wide receivers, they are, you got to go with your fearsome running game, and you have that. You have that. You've got one of the best two-headed running back monsters uh, on the Packers, and in Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, and you got to go with that, man. It's like the same thing with the Giants. They don't have receivers, but you got Saquon Barkley. So what are you going to do? You're going to run the hell out of the ball. I think so many coaches need to prove that they're these offensive geniuses who just have these great passing schemes, and they're going to light up, put up 35 points every game, regardless of who your wide receiver is. That's bullshit. Excuse my language, but that's baloney. Coaches really annoy the crap out of me. I think too many of them are stubborn or stuck in their ways and don't just play to the strength of what they have. And hopefully now LaFleur, the head coach of the Packers, understands that he's got two really good weapons. They're running backs, and you go with that. And that's what you go with. So that's what the Packers did. They pulled out the win here. Same thing with the Colts. They ran the ball more. And lo and behold, they won. All right? Just work with the talent that you have. Don't try to prove that you're some offensive genius that's going to dial up all these genius passing plays. Go with the talent that you have. I hate bad coaches, man. I hate bad coaches. The seasons that they ruin, the careers that they ruin, I can't stand them. I can't stand them. I think coaches until they prove that they can win should really only be on 1 year contracts. Honestly, I think they're horrible. So many bad coaches out there. Okay, the Cardinals are now 4-6. They defeated the Rams. You can stick a fork in them. The Rams, I guess, just call them. I guess you can just call them the stick a fork in them Rams. The Rams are done. The Rams are now 3-6. The final score of this game was 27-17. I still believe the Cardinals have a chance to make the playoffs. They're going to have to run the gauntlet. They're going to have to basically, win out. It's probably not going to happen, but the Rams, you could definitely stick a fork in them. Cooper Kupp is done for the season. He was the only hope they had. They have no other weapons on that team. They certainly don't have any running backs, and their wide receivers stink as well. So it doesn't look like there's going to be an OBJ reunion. And at this point, it's too late anyway for this year. Anyway, I do think OBJ and Rams should just get together and give him like a three-year contract and bring him back. But Even if he came back this week, it's not going to make a difference. It's over for the Rams. The Cardinals are 4-6. They've had a really bad year. A few weeks ago, I was expecting them to go, on a winning streak and possibly and probably make the playoffs. I was wrong about that. I realized they got the win, but you know, I think it's too late for the Cardinals as well. Okay, let's move on to the 49ers. The 49ers are now 5-4. They defeated the 5-4 Chargers 22-16. Chargers are having a rough game, rough season, I should say. This is yet another team that's in the upside down in this upside down NFL season where so many teams that we expected so much from this year are just not performing well at all, or they're not just not living, at least not living up to expectations. The Chargers are one of those teams. The 49ers are 5-4. I still think the 49ers are shaky, man. I think they are shaky. And I still don't think Christian McCaffrey, who had a really good game for them, for the 49ers, I'm not surprised. I still have a feeling he's not going to make as big a difference for the 49ers as people think. Just my gut feeling on it. Anyway, the Chargers, that team's in trouble. I think they're getting Mike Williams back this week. I believe they're getting Mike Williams back. And Keenan Allen, I guess, should be coming back sometime soon, but you have to check that guy's status. For the past 3 weeks, it looks like Keenan Allen, there was a chance he was going to play, and then he doesn't play. Keenan Allen that is one of the softest players in the entire NFL. He's absolutely ridiculous. That dude is always injured. But anyway, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Mike Williams is coming back this week at least. Unbelievable. Eckler did have a good game. The Chargers need more. They need to invest in wide receivers because they cannot count on Keenan Allen. They cannot count on that guy at all. So they're going to need to draft some wide receivers this upcoming year. Um, all right, that's it. I don't want to spend too much time on that game. And then the Monday night game, biggest upset of the week. Commanders, who are now 5-5. They've been playing so much better ever since they gave Taylor Heineke the ball. I would assume Carson Wentz is not going to be back as quarterback. This is Taylor Heineke's team going forward. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but the dude's got it. Like, he's got that it factor about him. He's a winner. The dude is a winner. Like, he's good. He's good. And Commanders' offense has been looking so much better. They upset the Eagles 32-21, man. Brian Robinson, rookie running back, who shot earlier this year, missed the first 6 games of the season due to being shot in the offseason. Uh, he's getting better and better every single game. McLaurin is putting up big numbers ever since Heineke became the quarterback again. McLaurin's looking good. The Commanders' offense is looking good. Chase Young is coming back. I think this upcoming weekend is going to be Chase Young's first game back for the Commanders. That's going to help out their defense. Commanders got a shot, man. They got a shot at making the playoffs. They do. They're playing really well. And I think they've got the easier part of their schedule coming up now, as opposed to the Giants, who have the harder part of the schedule coming up. I think the Commanders have the easier part of the schedule coming up. Big upset against the Eagles. Eagles are now 8-1. The final score was 32-21. I am glad the Eagles have suffered their first loss because I, of course, don't want them to go unbeaten throughout the entire season, win a Super Bowl possibly, and be unbeaten. I don't want them having that. But I have to say, I was hoping that the Eagles would stay undefeated until they played my Giants, so I could see the Giants get a chance to give them that first loss. And no, I don't think the Giants are better than the Eagles. I do not. But once you put the two teams on the field, you got to play the game. You know, Sometimes the better team does not win, and that's what I was hoping to see. But kudos to you, Commanders. Kudos on getting this win. That was a big, big win, big, big upset. And Commanders, listen, man, they're looking tough. They're looking tough, and they are trending in the right direction, definitely. And they are still in the playoff hunt. You still got they still have 7 games to go. They're hot. Commanders are playing pretty hot right now. All right, guys, that was last week's games. Let's go on to the Week 11 games. Let me give you my picks. And okay, so first of all, Week 10 results. With the spread, I went 9-5. So I think this is definitely my best week so far this year with the spread. I went 9-5 with the spread, and then straight up, I was just only 7-7. For the season so far, with the spread, I am 75, 71, and 4. For the season so far, straight up, I am 83, 66, and 1. Okay, first game, the Thursday night game, Titans at the Packers. The Packers are giving 3.5 points. Kind of surprised about that. Titans have been playing well. Packers have had a weak season. I am going to take the Titans getting the points. I will take the Packers straight up to win this game. The game's in Green Bay. I'm assuming LaFleur is going to run the ball himself, not himself, but I mean, he's actually going to decide to continue to run the ball behind, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. That's a smart thing to do. I assume he's going to do the same thing. Um, I'll go with the Titans getting the points in this game. I think it's going to be a hard fought game. I'll go with Tennessee getting the 3.5 points. I'll take the Packers straight up. Okay, Bears at the Falcons. The Falcons are giving 3.5 points. Um, I'm gonna go with the Bears getting the points and the Bears straight up to win outright. I'm definitely gonna take the Bears getting the points. They've been putting up points ever since Justin Fields revealed himself to be the franchise quarterback of the Bears about 4 weeks ago. The Bears have been putting up points. Um, and the game's in Atlanta, but Fields has been playing really, really well. He's been such a nemesis on the field. What a monster on the field he's been. I got to go with the Bears getting the points, and I'm going to go with the Bears straight up to pull the upset in this game. Okay, Browns at the Bills. The Bills are giving it 8.5 points. I think the Bills, this will be a get right game for them. The game's in Buffalo. I'll take the Bills. It says Bills getting the points. I'll take the Bills. Let me change that right in front of you. I'll take the Bills giving the 8.5 points. I'll take the Bills straight up. Okay, Eagles at the Colts. The Colts are getting 7 points at home. I'm going to take the Colts getting the points at home. I'll take the Eagles straight up. The Colts are playing better. At least this past game they played better. And I assume, the interim head coach right now is going to do the right thing and continue to run the ball. And Matt Ryan is the quarterback, as he should be. And I'll go with the Colts. I'll go with the Colts getting 7 points at home. I do think the Eagles will win, but I think the Colts will cover. Um, I think given the 7 points, I'll take that. Jets at the Patriots. The Patriots are giving 3.5 points. I'm gonna take the Jets getting the points. I think it's gonna be a close game. I'll take the Jets getting the points. I'll take the Patriots straight up to win this game. Um, I think Belichick is going to give Zach Wilson a hard time this game, like he gives to pretty much all young quarterbacks. So I believe the Jets played the Patriots earlier this season and beat them already. I believe. But this game's in New England. I'm going to go with the Patriots to win straight up, but I'll take the Jets getting those 3.5 points. Rams at the Saints. The Saints are I'm taking the Saints giving the points and the Saints straight up. The Rams just have nothing on offense. They've got nothing on offense at all. Um, so I'll take the Saints giving the points and the Saints straight up. Lions at the Giants. The Giants are giving 3 points to the Lions. I'll take the Lions getting the points. I think this is gonna be a close game. And listen, man, as a Giants fan, the Lions scare me because they can put up points. The Giants need to control the clock. They need to keep the ball. They need to run the ball, I think. I'll take the Giants straight up, but this is going to be a tough game for the Giants, man. The Lions are not a pushover, and the Giants are not a team to push anyone over anyway. So, listen, I could see the Lions winning this game. I could see it, but I'll go with the Giants straight up at home. I'll take the Lions getting the 3 points. Panthers at the Ravens. The Ravens are giving 13 points. I see 13 points, man. I normally don't care who the opponent is. I normally got to go with um, the team getting that many points. But you know what? I just listen. The Panthers have been playing better, but I like the Ravens. This game's at home. I'm going to go with the Ravens giving the points, even though it's 13 points. I'll go with the Ravens giving the points. I'll go with the Ravens straight up. Okay, Commanders at the Texans. The Texans are getting 3.5 points at home. I think the Commanders are going to wipe the floor with them pretty easily. I'm going to take the Commanders. I'm going to take the Commanders giving the points. In Houston, I'm going to take the Commanders giving the points, and I'll take the Commanders straight up. Um, Raiders at the Broncos. The Broncos are giving 3 points. I'm going to take the Raiders getting the 3 points. I'm going to take the Raiders straight up in this game. Cowboys at the Vikings. The Vikings are getting a point and a half at home. They're 8-1. The Cowboys are 6-3. That doesn't really mean too much. But I do think, besides the Eagles, I do think the Cowboys are the second best team in the NFC. I'm going to take the Vikings getting it's. I think it's going to be very close. I'm going to take the Vikings getting the point and a half at home. I'll take the Cowboys straight up to win, like a 1 point game. It's going to be a close game. I'll take the Cowboys straight up to win this game. Um, Bengals at the Steelers. The Steelers are getting 4 points at home. Uh, it's not like the Bengals, they have not been world beaters this year. I got to say that. But you know what? I'll go with the Bengals giving the 4 points in Pittsburgh, and I'll take the Bengals straight up. Chiefs at the Chargers. The Chargers are getting 6 points at home. I'm going to take the Chargers getting the points. No, you know what? I can't. I can't. They're too banged up. They're too injured. I'm going to take the Chiefs giving the points. I'm going to take the Chiefs giving the points. The Chiefs straight up. Okay, 49ers at the Cardinals. This is the Monday night game. 49ers at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are getting 8 points at home. I'm going to take the Cardinals getting the 8 points at home. I'll take the 49ers straight up. And that is it, everybody. Those are my picks for week 11. And yeah, let me save that. Let me get out of here. Okay, guys. So before I say goodbye, Twitter handles for me and most of my compadres. We do have a few new people who joined Toilets of Titles that I have not added in down here. I keep forgetting to do that. I will do that after this episode. I promise. I promise. I'm horrible. I promise. I'm a horrible person. But these are the Twitter handles for most of my compadres here at Toilets of Titles. Please give each of them a follow. Great crew of people, always providing, we're all providing our own content. And you should love us all. You should love us all. We're a very lovable crew. And just another friendly reminder to please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell, ding. Give us that 5-star Apple review. Why? Because we deserve it. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I'm going to be in California next week. I am going. I do plan on doing this episode. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do it because I'm going to bring my work laptop with me, but I do not do anything Toilets and Titles related on my work laptop at all. So maybe I can use someone else's computer. We'll see. I'll make it work somehow. I will be here Wednesday. You will not be without Joe Knows next Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I promise you. I promise you. You will not be without me. Anyway, everyone, I'm out of here. Enjoy your Week 11 games starting tomorrow night, Thursday night, and I will catch you next Wednesday. Everybody, have a great weekend, a great weekend. Love you all. Take care.